All right, how's it going, everyone? Happy Tuesday. Go ahead and get kicked off here in a second. Let's let a few more people join. All right, so let's go ahead and get kicked off here. Welcome everyone for joining us for our first edition of our webinar series that's going to be covering some collaboration and WebEx topics for you guys. And we're going to do this the first Tuesday of every month. And our first session today is going to be WebEx Meetings and Webinars. And essentially today we're going to go over a few agenda items to include challenges with WebEx, the platform, or maybe with your current ecosystem, some new solutions out on the horizon for WebEx, and then enhancing your experience. That could be general admin or end user experience as well. And then we have some Slido questions throughout the presentation we want to interact with you all for. And so to kind of get things kicked off, talking about maybe new enhancements or integrations that are available to most of our customers right now. If you go ahead and take out your cell phone and go ahead and hit your camera button and just scan the QR code on the screen here, it'll actually bring you to the Slido app. And what you'll be able to do, I'm going to show you here on my screen. It'll allow you to interact with some polls, and then you can also do some Q&A. So if you notice on my screen, you can actually ask questions to me at any time during the presentation. And then when a poll pops up throughout the presentation, it'll automatically forward you to our polls for you to interact with. And then obviously here is the passcode down here. So I'm just going to hold on to this page here for a few seconds so you guys can go ahead and get started up. And then we will move on throughout the presentation here. And we do have a guest speaker, and I'll introduce him in a little bit here. So I appreciate all of you all joining today. I think when we get a general consensus, we'll move forward. But the passcode, if you're wondering, for the event when you scan the QR code is right here. Highlight for y'all. All right. So again, thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Alex Garden. I'm the manager for customer success here at DSI, and I cover a lot of our collaboration WebEx customers and providing best practices, training, onboarding, implementation throughout your journey with WebEx, and obviously here to assist you with whatever your collaboration needs might have. So today, I wanted to cover a few topics that we kind of near and dear to our customers. A lot of people have been asking us to cover. Some of the challenges with WebEx. And I thought instead of, death by PowerPoint, right, I was actually going to share a few videos with everybody today. So with that, the first video that we're going to show is basically your typical conference setup right now. A lot of people who are using WebEx, or just any conference solution in general are having some issues maybe with end users, the way that they're joining, or audio bandwidth. And we'll show you this video here, and just kind of hold on to that in your back pocket, because after this video, we're going to have an open discussion with some of these challenges and how we've overcome them in reality. So with that, I'm going to play this video for you all. Oh, and I jumped ahead. We actually have a Slido question before the video. Sorry. So if you have your Slido out, go ahead and scan the screen. If you already have it open, we're going to go ahead and take a quick poll. But what are some of the current challenges that you're facing today in terms of collaboration or hybrid work? So for any of you out there who are my CTOs, CIOs, collaboration managers, anyone who's working with the WebEx solution, what are you all currently doing right now or seeing challenges in the current industry? And as you start typing things in here, they will actually appear on the screen here. And we can always pause and have a quick discussion if you'd like. So we got different applications, bandwidth issues to continue to arise. Perfect, perfect. Security, okay. I mean, these are all common things that I've seen on my end in terms of like, you know, on the engineering side as well, and just listening to our customers. You know, I think the bandwidth situation is probably one that comes up probably the most when we're talking with customers, and just, you know, whether it's, and honestly, any platform out there. And I think we have some great ways today to show you how to overcome that. Employees do not want to return to the office. I love that. But, you know, at the same time with the hybrid workforce, I think if anything, and just to kind of tap on that real quick, this is a great benefit that can be added to your arsenal for your organization, where, you know, you can express that work from home, you know, that work-life balance, and be able to keep accountability for everybody. I know, especially with Webex, there's tools where you could see, you know, how attentive people are if they're on their machines and stuff like that too. So you can keep tabs on individuals, even when you're at home, and you know, trying to drive that work going through. Your cost, different locations, apps wanting to take control of the microphone. Yeah, that's for sure. If you're using multiple solutions like Webex, maybe Microsoft Teams or Zoom, whatever one you use last really does want to hold onto that microphone. So you almost have to close out of all the different applications and kind of play around with what's going on. So I appreciate everybody who was working on these topics here. We'll definitely want to keep this in mind, and in these Slido questions, we can always go back to it after the presentation. But yeah, I definitely think these are all things that you know, can be taken care of in terms of a collaboration suite. And then obviously today's topic is going to be discussing Webex. So hopefully we answer some of these questions as we go through. But keep in mind, some of these right here, you know, whether it be security, different locations, bandwidth, too many collaboration tools. Think of these as we watch this video, because a lot of these will actually come up while we watch this video. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page here. Again, thank you for those who participated. I'm going to go ahead and play this video and just kind of take notes and see how these people interact.
Trip Crosby
has joined the meeting.
Beth
has joined the meeting.
Hello?
Tyler?
No, this is Beth from ICS.
Oh, hey, Beth. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Yeah. Just making it, you know.
Tyler?
Has joined the meeting.
All right, well, this is Trip. Who's here?
Tyler's here.
Beth's here.
Okay, the purpose of today's meeting is to discuss the...
Yeah, I'll be able to do it in like 30 minutes.
John?
Has joined the meeting.
Hi, John.
Hi.
I was just trying to go over the purpose of today's meeting, which is to discuss the
Tyler?
Has joined the meeting.
Sorry, guys, I got cut off. Is Paul here? Send him an invite.
Put in your access code.
No, that's your PIN number.
It should be a 9-digit number.
Try pressing the pound key. Paul.
Has joined the meeting.
Any questions before we move on?
Yes, this is Beth. What's our best plan of attack for the second quarter?
Question
What
actually...
we should do.
Oh,
go ahead. Oh, I think
Well,
what we should do.
it
is
actually
really
depends on
diversify.
how you look at it, because
and
the
really come.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I think
Given
what we-
sales,
what we
we're at a...
really- I think
Let me just say that...
Okay.
That was a great graph, John. Tyler?
Well, my main concern with the projections from last year was that they're just insufficient. I mean, they're not even taking into account.
Did we lose Tyler again?
Hello?
John, are you guys taking distributions? John?
Oh, my bad. I was on mute. Let me start over.
So I've prepared a presentation. I'm sharing it with all of you. You should be able to see it on your screen right now.
Got it.
I don't see a link anywhere.
It says I need to download a plugin.
We are all using Macs, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
How can you?
Financials are looking great. Paul, do you have any comments on staffing?
I was thinking about that because we get a few more contractor types in. Hold on, I'm sorry. Rex, get down.
I don't know. I feel like when I looked at the numbers last quarter, that you couldn't really tell a huge difference
So if we were to really tighten that up, then I think.
To me, staffing is a huge impact.
Is that me?
It's not me, I don't think.
I just want to go over a couple of details as we move into our next section here. We got 3 new departments coming on board.
Break it up a little bit, guys.
By the end of Q3.
Driving to
So
a dead
I'm going to need
spot.
everyone to give me detailed evaluations each
Sorry,
month
guys.
so that we know. That's it, guys. Beth, you'll send out a recap email that could have basically taken the place of this whole meeting, correct?
Yep, always do.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, Beth. Dave, you been here the whole time?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, thanks everyone once again. Oh, one more.
All right, awesome. So I wanted to play that video just because I think it was so funny when I first saw it, where, you know, watching these people interact with meetings, especially in the beginning of COVID, right, when everyone kind of started using hybrid or any kind of collaboration tool, we were starting to see quite a bit of people, you know, trying to maneuver and join meetings and worrying about bandwidth. You know, you've got maybe your wife or husband or kids or whoever upstairs watching Netflix, or they're on videos as well. So the bandwidth is being constrained, and you know, internet was definitely an issue. So it's funny, I think every single one of those items that had happened on that video, we probably have all experienced in real time, and then probably even this week, even as it being Tuesday. So I think we have quite a bit of things that we can do to kind of maneuver around those. And as part of a guest speaker, I've got Chris Rossbach over from Loudoun County Government. And, you know, I've actually worked pretty extensively with him and his team. And I wanted him to join today's call. Hey, Chris, because, you know, they use WebEx to such a proficient level. And maybe just have some open dialogue from Chris to talk about, you know, how they use WebEx, or even just to kind of, you know, reflect on that video and anything that you've seen, Chris, that you guys have overcome some challenges. So with that, Chris, you know, what do you think about the video, first of all? And, you know, have you seen bandwidth issues, and how did you guys overcome those? I know we use the call-in features and stuff like that, but, you know, what other challenges do you think that you all might see, or how you've overcome certain issues? And Chris, I don't know if we can hear you or not. Unless it's just me.
I think Chris might be double muted. If you wanted to keep going, Alex, and we can circle back to Chris once we get him on here.
Okay. Hey, are you joined with computer audio? Yeah. You know what it might be? It might be that Microsoft. So this is good. This is good. So this is a good example. Literally, I mean, and it's funny because, you know, Chris and I were speaking yesterday about a similar issue where, you know, I have Zoom, I have Microsoft on my computer, and if you've used those applications throughout the day, when you join a WebEx, or vice versa, if you're in WebEx and you join a Zoom meeting, your microphone might be getting taken over with some of those applications. So, you know, again, it's all part of maneuvering around, you know, these types of systems and tools and stuff like that. So, you know, and one of the things I was going to mention to Chris that we've seen quite a bit is the bandwidth situations, right? So a lot of times, you know, my customer, there's Chris, hey, there you go.
Sorry about that, folks. Okay, so what I was saying was that, well, first of all, hello. Happy to join the webinar today. We use WebEx for our public input meetings, where we might have on any given night 150 people wanting to speak. And we needed a way to be able to show all of our board members' faces, and we couldn't do that with our existing web conferencing solution. So to be able to see everybody on the screen at the same time was critical. And then also being able to record faces which we couldn't do with our existing web conferencing solution. Those were the biggest challenges, and fortunately, Webex was able to provide us with those capabilities. And so we got this going during the pandemic, and it doesn't look like it looks like it's going to continue on through into perpetuity now. People want to join remotely. It's good for the senior citizens in the community who want to speak during public input, and of course, if it's snowing outside or just getting cars off the road.
I mean, I
as
think
far as things like bandwidth and audio problems, we've encountered those, and we encourage them just to use regular phone dial in and join that way. And fortunately, we don't have a whole lot of people talking over each other.
Maybe
we
dogs
are
barking
able to,
now.
of course, what's that?
So maybe dogs barking. I know, Chris, you and I have been on calls before. I'm pretty sure my 2-year-old was in the back screaming, and I had the noise cancellation stuff on. So those things help. And, you know, I think I totally agree with you, because, you know, I think when we all started the hybrid work, right, going back and forth to the office and stuff like that, I think it is nice that we can look forward to, you know, maybe there's a day where you have a doctor's appointment. Now you don't have to take a full day off. You can literally take a meeting, you know, all the way up until that appointment, whether, you know, because with Webex, it integrates with CarPlay. So for some of you who have that integration with your cars, you know, I know for me in my truck, it automatically goes to the vehicle and I can hear everything. I can still pay attention to the road, hands-free, stuff like that. So yeah, I think, you know, and to your point, snow days, right? I mean, you don't have to worry about driving in now. You can easily remotely, you know, kind of segue between weather and other national emergencies that we've seen. So yeah, I think to your point, I don't think Webex or collaboration is going away in terms of virtual meetings. I think if anything, it's going to be improving. And some of those improvements, I think we'll probably even talk about later in this quick segment. You know, I've got some future products that are going to come out. You know, so I definitely want to touch on those as well. But you know, Chris, we'll keep calling on you throughout the presentation if you want us to, and if anybody else in the audience would like to chime in as well, that would be great. Because I know the next topic that we wanted, and Chris, thank you again for you know, being with us right now and discussing some of these items. And the next thing that I wanted to actually bring up is some of these new enhancements to Webex. And some of these new solutions on the horizon. I know Chris and I worked extensively on some of these new solutions as they come out as part of the customer success team. And one of them, I wanted to share a quick video with you all. It is an enhancement that is actually out now. We are able to actually sign our customers up for a trial version of this, if you will, or just kind of set up their architecture to support it. But I'll let the video speak for itself. And if you have any questions, again, make sure you use that Slido app, and you can go ahead and drop some Q&A, or you can use the chat function in the bottom here. So let me go ahead and move on to the next slide so you can see this new feature enhancement.
There's no replacement for in-person interaction, but we can feel like we're together, interacting with the same objects while being thousands of miles apart. Introducing Webex Hologram, the industry's first real-time holographic collaboration solution. This is a holographic meeting. It's a shared, intuitive interaction, allowing remote participants to experience the same immersive event. It's a transformative technology for designers, engineers, technicians, innovators, and more. This isn't some faraway vision for the future. It's available to a limited set of customers right now. The expectation of hybrid work has been elevated.
All right. So I thought that was pretty exciting. For those of you, like, maybe this is the first time that you've seen this. I know when I first was introduced to this hologram solution, I was kind of like, you know, what the heck is going on, right? Are we really at that point where in technology where we're going to start seeing stuff like this? But, it is the reality that work from home and the hybrid workforce is not going to go away, right? So having a solution like that, where you either have the goggles or you do not use the goggles, maybe somebody on your team does. I mean, I could basically be in a conference room and have like a schematic or, to their point, the augmented reality solutions. And we can actually pick through and pull it apart. For those of you who are familiar with Oculus and some of these VR solutions that are out there, I mean, this is the absolute future. And I think this is the direction that a lot of these collaboration solutions are going to be going to, where, almost like some Star Trek stuff, right? You're going to be sitting across the room from somebody who's a hologram, and eventually that'll be a new normal, So I just wanted to show you that was pretty exciting for some of the solutions that are available right now. And if you want to take advantage of this, obviously you can reach out to the DSI customer success team or your sales manager. And we'll go ahead and get you guys on a trial basis. We have to put your name through into Cisco, and we can provide that access to get you to start using some of these solutions here today. In terms of other enhancements that are coming out, I wanted to touch on real quick. We do have the ability right now in Webex to do automated AI closed captioning, and this is available for all active user hosts right now. So if you're a customer that has an active user hosted contract with Webex, all of your constituents should have access to this tool. And what that means is while they're talking in Webex, they can actually turn on closed captioning. And in the same fashion, there is an ability to turn on what's called real-time translations. So not only can you have closed captioning, but if I'm speaking Spanish and somebody on the other side is speaking English, they can actually turn on the translator to be able to have that translated for them. And I believe currently there's over 100 languages available, and it is machine learning. So, and that's one of the biggest questions, Alex, how accurate is this, right? So for the closed captioning portion, it is said that it's about 90% accurate, but it will learn over time to learn your acronyms, to pick up accents and to pick up, how your dialogue works. But even then, a future enhancement for the solution, you're actually going to be able to upload your own dictionary. So if you do have certain words that are, or phrases, or again, acronyms that are specific to your organization, you would be able to upload those into Webex's toolkit. So you would automatically come through on the closed captioning device as you're using that. Another one of the enhancements that have come up, I believe, technically in September of this year, but it's really more prominent nowadays, is the background noise cancellation. So what I want to do is I actually want to stop sharing my screen. And I want to go ahead and pull up the interface that I'm using today right now, because one of the things that we'll notice, and I'm going to go ahead and show you, give me 1 second. And this, I'm going to go ahead and share my meeting window so you can see my screen here. So if you notice right now, I can see some of the applications and stuff that we're using on the screen. So if I click on mute, and obviously I'm using computer audio right now, which could technically strain bandwidth and stuff like that. But if you happen to be using your computer, I've already turned on noise removal right now. And I can also optimize for my voice, and I can also change it to music mode. So if you get high frequency pitches that maybe we're not coming through the device or through your microphone, you could set it up so it does that. The noise removal is amazing. If you have those keyboard bangers, or dogs barking or kids in the background or whatever, you're in a noisy work area, Webex is only improving that solution there to pick up. And eventually what they're going to do is have an algorithm where if you are in a room and you have facial recognition turned on, it'll actually show who's in the room and exactly what person said what. So, if Michelle and Jordan are in the room with me, Webex would actually learn who they are, and it would actually show who is speaking, even though maybe the camera's not on them, and maybe filter other people in the room who are not talking and whatnot, and just doing background noise. So again, the solution's always improving to include some of the virtual backgrounds that you might see, some of the blurred backgrounds, and even for those of you who use the desktops, the Webex Desk Pros, and the DX80s, and those sort of Webex hardware devices. Those also give you the weather person for solutions where I could actually be presenting content, and then at the same time that content is going to be coming up on your screen, and you're kind of like superimposed and stuff like that. So that was really nice as well. Go share the content again for you all real quick, because I want to move into our next segment. But if anyone has any questions about anything we've seen so far, please feel free to go ahead and reach out. And I would love to answer any of your questions if you have anything. But as of right now, I wanted to share something. This is our next segment, which is going to be called Enhance Your Webex Experience. So what I wanted to do is actually start off in the Webex Control Hub. So you all can see my screen right now. I'm going to go make it bigger here. One of the most valuable places for you as a administrator or an end user for Webex that has access to the back end here is going to be some of these reports. So 9 times out of 10, I've got messages coming in from people. Alex, you know, the CIO or the board or whoever, they're cutting in and out their audio, right? We need to drill down what's going on. We think it's end user, we cannot confirm, right? So what I usually do is in going into reports here, you can see here, if I go into the main Webex Control Hub, by clicking on reports, you have some of these canned responses here. And one of my favorites is actually meeting attendees. And you can see here, it is going to provide information about attendees who joined that specific meeting. And I'm going to pull up one of these actual reports. I'm going to slide it into the screen here. This is a real report that I ran. And if you notice, obviously you get your meeting name. So if I want to say, hey, the welcome training, right? You know, here's the conference ID. Where did that meeting take place? The date that it started. You know, a specific user, you know, how was it launched? Was it on Windows? Was it on Chrome? How long was the meeting? What was the VoIP latency packet drops? Anything like that I could actually drill down information and say, oh, look, you know, this meeting had some issues with VoIP, right? Like this one right here, you know, and so forth, and really drilling down to pinpoint. And you can even run a secondary report that will actually show the end user specifically who was struggling. But again, just to kind of show you some of the analytics you can get, even down to the actual device itself. And maybe this presenter was on Ethernet, so they had a better experience in Wi-Fi or even cellular. So this person here who launched this meeting was actually joined on a hotspot or just on their cell phone or an iPad, right? So you can really kind of see what's going on in that meeting to show the best experience. And then you can work with our team to how to improve that experience as well. Another thing that I wanted to mention quickly is some of you will notice in the next few months, the Webex desktop app is getting an upgrade. And it is going to get an upgrade into what we call the Webex App. And I wanted to share that briefly because the Webex App is going to provide a lot more user interface and a little bit of an easier experience for you to kind of deep dive onto some of the solutions that Webex has to offer. And I wanted to show what that looks like real quick as well. So when I'm opening up my meeting application here, go ahead and pull that up for you and drop it over here. So this is my Webex app, and you can see here I've got personal insights. I've got my future and upcoming meetings, and it is now all on a singular interface, whereas before I had a desktop application that I could click on and only really see my meetings. But now you can see I've got personal insights, so I can see how attentive you are in meetings. It's loading a little bit, but you can see here in a second, you know, how interacting you are and how latent some of your meetings, or excuse me, how bandwidth could affect some of your meetings. If you started meetings on time, who's your frequent users and so forth. I can also do a work-life balance. So if you want to set schedule restrictions, you know, hey, I'm unattentive after 5 p.m. and my workday starts at 8 a.m., you can actually see that work-life balance and also set up alerts for yourself. Talking about that hybrid workflow, right? These things are not going to go away. And being able to integrate and show how we can merge our work-life balance and then obviously use these state-of-the-art tools to do so. Another thing that's really cool, I know we got a few minutes left before we jump, but the Webex applications that you can now upload into Webex itself. There's a whole slew of tools that we can add into the Webex suite that is automatically integrated with your Webex solution. So when you switch over to the Webex application, you'll see more and more access to new tools and third-party applications that you've never been able to integrate before. And as we get towards the end of the session here, I wanted to close out with a few of these questions. And again, we do have prizes for those of you who are interacting. And just to kind of start this question off, what report can you run to determine who had bandwidth issues during a meeting? And again, if you'd like to interact with this poll, just go ahead and take your cell phone out and scan this QR code here, and then go ahead and answer one of these questions by selecting it on your phone or on your computer if you're following on your computer. And we just covered it a little bit ago, if that helps. Again, the question is, what report can you run, to determine who had bandwidth issues during a meeting? So the answer is going to be meeting attendees. That meeting attendees report is essentially what we're going to use to run reporting on the host of that meeting to show any kind of bandwidth issues or performance issues that might have happened, so that us as administrators or customer success experts can really kind of hone in on potential issues or future issues that you might occur, so you can kind of put best practices in place to prevent those situations from happening again. And then our last question for today is, can I use AI closed captions during a Webex webinar or a Webex event? Now, I know we didn't cover this question here, but I just wanted to see how many of you have tried to do this before and have had hopefully the experience of this. Can I use AI closed captions during a Webex webinar event? Great, 100% of you got yes. So the actual answer to this question, so it is a trick question. So you cannot use the closed captioning during a Webex event. It is only in Webex meetings for today. It is going to be a future enhancement, but with the Webex webinar, there is a solution that you can actually have a closed captioner join those sessions. And even if you wanted to take a step further, there are solutions that also allow audio inputs. So if you wanted to hear that meeting specifically, that Webex event specifically in Spanish or Arabic or any other foreign language, or language to you rather, you could also change your audio inputs to support those audio channels. So unfortunately, you can only have AI closed captions in the current ecosystem in Webex meetings, not Webex events. But we'll be here soon. And we did have some Q&A going on in the chat right now. So the first one was, did Chris have any issues training his team and citizens on Webex? And what does he like best about it? So Chris, if you're still with us, if you'd like to kind of answer that question here.
I am, and I've chosen a new background. Not really so many issues. It's just we really wanted to get people trained on how to use it in advance of the meeting. And so when people sign up for public input, for instance, they are directed to a web page that details everything that they need to know about how this meeting runs and how Webex will work for them. So just getting out in front of it as much as possible so that when those citizens join, they're prepared for how it's going to work. What do I like best about Webex? I'm going to say reliability. It never fails. I say that, and I'm going to knock on some wood because I think there's a public input meeting tonight. So, yeah, we launch it, it goes, people are able to join. That would be the thing that I would point to as the best feature.
Yeah, for sure.
Or maybe the most important feature to us, right? That people be able to join and do their public input. We also have taken to using it for all of our advisory boards and commissions now. So we have, I think, 60 or so of these advisory and boards and commissions, and they all use Webex, and they're all recording faces, and so we put those out there on our website for transparency, and so
sure.
People can see what happened in those meetings.
Yeah.
See who's talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important too, like, and some of the things that I like, Chris, with Webex, and especially if you're using the Webex app, when that migration comes, anytime that new enhancements, I'm glad this question came up. Anytime there are new enhancements or improvements to Webex, when you're using the Webex app, you'll actually get pop-ups. Hey, what's new this month, or what's new this week? And you can actually do a walkthrough of these different new features that are coming out. And another thing that we do with a lot of customers too is we set up test sites. Right. So Chris, we have the ability to go into Webex, create a beta site that us as administrators, we can actually go in and test new features as they come out, make sure those enhancements are able to work for our teams. And if they don't, we can push those updates and then create collateral and training opportunities for our teams to show them when these new updates are coming out. So they're not just walking in Monday morning, right? So a brand new interface, brand new tools, kind of gives us the option to kind of go through and train them on our own time and release these schedules when they come out. So great question. And thank you for that, Chris. And then the last one we've got here is, when will translation to English be available? So I believe English, and maybe I need to refresh this question, but let's say someone is speaking in Spanish and it's going into English. I thought it already existed, but I have heard that in some cases it was not available. And if that truly is the case even today, I think we might need to just work with the Cisco BU to get an actual date on that, because I don't actually have the roadmap for some of the translation languages. I know when they first brought this about, and DSI was one of the organizations or one of the partners that was helping to test some of these things. I believe they had over 115 languages originally. But I think, to whoever wrote this question, one of the points was they didn't have the back to English translation part on there originally, but I think it has been put in there, or it was something maybe you had to request. So whoever answered that question, if you want to send us a follow-up email, or if everybody on the call would like to answer this question, we could certainly reach back out to everybody and provide those answers. And I know we're over time, but if anybody has any further questions or anything they'd like to add, feel free to drop those in the Slido right now. And even if you have Slido on your phone and we end this session, we will be able to provide feedback and respond to those questions with you all. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And like I said, we're going to be having these sessions the first Tuesday of every single month moving forward. And next month, I believe it's April 5th, we are going to be hopefully going to be in the Cisco Herndon office to be showing off some of the Webex endpoints and some of the future of Webex hardware for your conference rooms. And then, hopefully putting some plans into action to show you how those things use. And again, for all of our customers on this call right now, if you do have questions or would like the customer success team or your sales members at DSI to work with you on specific use cases, maybe start trials on real-time translations that play out with it. If you have training requests, training needs, or just general questions on how to improve your overall Webex architecture, please reach out to us. We're eager to assist, and we would love to work with you all in the future. And with that, hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you all next month. Thank you so much.